The space station Arcturus Prime floated in the darkness between stars. It was a neutral place where species from across the galaxy came to talk, trade, and make deals. Today, it held the most important meeting in human history. General Lisa Morgan stood at the observation window and watched ships arrive from distant worlds. She was 52 years old, with gray streaks in her dark hair. Her uniform carried medals from battles most people had never heard of. She had spent 30 years protecting Earth, and now she was here to secure its future. Nervous? Asked a voice behind her. Lisa turned to see General Catherine Rivera walking toward her. Kate was younger, only 45, but she commanded Earth's entire orbital defense fleet. She had a sharp mind and even sharper instincts. Not nervous, Lisa said. Careful. There is a difference. A third woman joined them. General Diana Cole was the oldest of the three at 58. She had more combat experience than anyone alive. Her hands had seen war on 3 planets, and her eyes carried the weight of every soldier she had lost. The Valorians are arrogant, Diana said quietly. They think we are children playing at war. That makes them dangerous. Ambassador Henry Blake appeared at the doorway. He was a thin man with kind eyes and a diplomatic smile that had served Earth well for 20 years. Ladies, the Emperor is ready to receive us, he said. The 4 humans walked through the station's long corridors. Aliens of all shapes and sizes watched them pass. Some looked curious. Others looked amused. A few looked afraid. Humanity was new to the galactic stage, and no one quite knew what to make of them. The throne room was massive. Golden walls rose toward a ceiling painted with stars. At the far end sat Emperor Zorath Vel on a throne of black crystal. He was tall and thin with pale blue skin and eyes that glowed like dying suns. He had ruled the Valorian Empire for 600 years. To him, humans were insects that had just learned to crawl. Welcome, humans, the Emperor said. His voice echoed through the chamber. We are pleased you have accepted membership in our great empire. Ambassador Blake bowed respectfully. We are honored, Your Majesty. Earth looks forward to a long partnership. High Commander Drexus stood beside the throne. He was a military man with scars on his face and hatred in his heart. He had opposed human membership from the beginning. To him, these creatures from a small blue planet were a threat that needed to be controlled. There is the matter of your military, Drexus said coldly. All member species must surrender command of their forces to the Empire. This is not negotiable. General Morgan stepped forward. With respect, Earth's military will remain under Earth's command. We will cooperate with Imperial forces, but we will not surrender our ability to defend ourselves. Silence fell over the chamber. No one spoke to the Empire this way. No one refused their demands. Emperor Zorath leaned forward on his throne. You misunderstand your position, human. You do not negotiate with us. You obey. We are partners, not servants, Lisa said calmly. Earth joined the Empire as equals. Drexus whispered something in the Emperor's ear. The old ruler's eyes narrowed, and something dark passed across his face. I have received troubling reports, the Emperor said slowly. Reports that Earth is building weapons in secret. Reports that you plan to challenge our authority. Those reports are false, Ambassador Blake said quickly. Earth has no such intentions. Lies, Drexus spat. Human lies. They smile and bow, but they plot against us. I have seen the evidence. General Rivera took a step forward. What evidence? Show us these reports. We have nothing to hide. The Emperor raised his hand. Enough. I have made my decision. Guards appeared from every doorway. Dozens of Valorian soldiers surrounded the human delegation with weapons drawn. Ambassador Blake went pale. The 3 generals did not move. What is the meaning of this? Blake demanded. You came here thinking you were our equals, the Emperor said. You are not. You are a minor species from a minor world, and you have forgotten your place. That ends now. The guards seized the 3 generals. Diana fought back, breaking one guard's arm before 3 more pinned her down. Kate and Lisa were pulled away from each other despite their struggles. These 3 represent human arrogance, the Emperor announced to the watching delegates from other worlds. They refused to submit. They spoke to me as if they had the right. Let this be a lesson to all who forget their place in my empire. No. Ambassador Blake screamed. You cannot do this. This is murder. Drexus smiled. This is justice. The Emperor nodded, and a soldier brought forward a disintegration device. It was a cruel weapon that destroyed a person 1 layer at a time. Death was slow. Death was painful. Death was public. General Diana Cole was first. She looked at her fellow generals one last time. Make them pay, she said. Then the beam hit her, and she screamed as her body turned to ash. General Catherine Rivera was next. She did not scream. She stared at the Emperor with pure hatred until the light took her. General Lisa Morgan was last. She looked at Ambassador Blake. Tell Earth what happened here, she said. Tell them everything. Then she was gone. The Emperor stood from his throne and walked toward the trembling ambassador. Go home, human. Tell your people what happens to those who defy us. Tell them to be afraid. Ambassador Blake was thrown onto a shuttle and sent back to Earth. He sat alone in the small ship, shaking, crying, and burning with a rage he had never known. Behind him, the delegates from 100 worlds watched in silence. Most had seen such cruelty before. The Empire ruled through fear, and fear kept everyone in line. But something was different this time. The humans had not begged. They had not surrendered. Even facing death, they had stood tall. And somewhere in the back of his ancient mind, Emperor Zorth felt the first cold touch of doubt. He pushed it away. Humans were nothing. Earth was nothing. He would soon learn how wrong he was. The attack came without warning. Admiral Desser was drinking wine in his quarters when the alarms began. He was an old Valorian with decades of service, and he had commanded the Border Defense Fleet for 15 years. No one had ever attacked his sector. No one was foolish enough to try. He walked calmly to the bridge, expecting some minor problem. Perhaps a trade ship in distress. Perhaps a small pirate raid. What he saw on the screen made him drop his glass. 300 human ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. They did not ask for permission. They did not send warnings. They simply opened fire. Impossible, Besser whispered. The humans do not have such ships. They cannot. The first wave of missiles hit his flagship before he could finish speaking. The shields that had protected Valorian ships for centuries failed instantly. Human weapons cut through them like they were not there. Return fire, Desser screamed. All ships, return fire. His orders came too late. Captain Laura Bennett led her fighter squadrons through the chaos. She was flying a ship named Phoenix, and she moved through the battle like a ghost. Valorian fighters tried to catch her, but she was too fast, too precise, too angry. This is for Kate, she said, as she destroyed an enemy cruiser. For Lisa, for Diana. Across the border region, the story was the same. Human forces appeared from nowhere and struck with overwhelming violence. The Valorians had expected months of preparation. They had expected diplomatic attempts. They had expected fear. They got none of those things. Lieutenant, Commander Jack Morrison stood on the bridge of the ESS Retribution. He was young for his rank, only 35, but he had a gift for seeing patterns in chaos. Where others saw confusion, he saw opportunity. Their ships are grouping together, he said to Admiral Grant. They think numbers will save them. They are wrong. Explain, the Admiral said. They are following their standard tactics. Formation 17. Concentrate firepower. Overwhelm the enemy. But we studied their battles for decades. We know what they will do before they do it. Morrison pointed at the screen. If we split our forces here and here, we can flank them. They will not expect it because no one has ever done it to them. Admiral Grant smiled grimly. Do it. The human fleet divided and reformed. The Valorians watched in confusion. This was not how battles were fought. This was madness. Then the madness worked. Human ships hit them from 3 directions at once. Admiral Lasar's fleet crumbled. Ship after ship exploded. Escape pods filled the darkness, but no one stopped to pick them up. There would be mercy later. Not today. Desser stood on his burning bridge and refused to leave. He was a soldier, and soldiers did not run. The last thing he saw was a human missile coming toward him. He had time for one final thought. We were wrong about them. Then he was gone. On the planet below, Cephas Prime was one of the Empire's most important border worlds. 20 million Valorians lived there. 60,000 soldiers defended it. General Victor Hayes led the ground invasion personally. Dropships fell from the sky like rain. Human soldiers poured out with weapons that made Valorian armor useless. Sergeant Nina Cross was first out of her dropship. She was a small woman with short hair and cold eyes. She had joined the military at 18 and never looked back. Now she led a squad of 20 soldiers who would follow her into fire. Move fast, stay low, show no mercy, she told her squad. They killed our generals. They laughed while they did it. Now we show them what happens when you hurt our family. The battle for Cephas Prime lasted 4 days. The Valorians fought hard, but they had never faced an enemy like this. Humans did not stop when they were wounded. They did not retreat when they were outnumbered. They kept coming and coming until there was nothing left to fight. On the 5th day, General Hayes planted Earth's flag in the capital city. He sent a message to the fleet. Target secured. Across the border, 2 more planets fell. Then 5 more. Then a dozen. Human forces swept through Valorian space like a storm. On Valoria Prime, Prince Korathvel raged at the reports. He was the Emperor's son, young and hungry for glory. He had never respected humans. He had called them animals. Now those animals were destroying his empire. Give me command of the counter fleet, he demanded. I will crush them myself. His father hesitated. The Emperor was finally beginning to understand his mistake. But his pride would not let him show weakness. Go, Zorath said. Stop them. Do not fail me. Prince Korath gathered the largest fleet in Valorian history. 2,000 warships. Millions of soldiers. Enough firepower to destroy 100 planets. He set course for the front lines. Convinced that his arrival would end this embarrassing war. In the war room on Earth, Admiral Grant watched the enemy fleet approach. They are sending everything, he said. The Emperor's son himself is coming. President Price stood beside him. Can we stop them? We can do better than stop them, the Admiral replied. We have been waiting for this. They are putting all their power in one place. When we break them here, there will be nothing between us and their homeworld. Captain Bennett appeared on the screen from her fighter. Sir, the fleet is ready. We know what we have to do. Morrison looked up from his tactical display. I have analyzed their formation. The prince is commanding from the center, surrounded by his stronger ships. He thinks it makes him safe. It makes him a target. Admiral Grant nodded slowly. Then let us show this prince what happens when you face humanity at war. The 2 fleets approached each other in the darkness between stars. This would be the largest battle in galactic history. The fate of billions rested on what happened next. And somewhere in the human fleet, pilots, soldiers, and commanders looked at pictures of 3 women who had died on a space station far away. They whispered their names like prayers. Morgan, Rivara, Cole. We will make them proud. The battle against Prince Korath's fleet lasted 7 hours. When it ended, half the Valorian ships were burning wreckage. The prince himself barely escaped in a damaged shuttle. His confident smile was gone. His fancy words were silent. He had seen what humans could do, and he would never forget the terror. Lieutenant Commander Morrison had been right about everything. The prince had surrounded himself with his best ships, thinking power would protect him. Instead, it made the target obvious. Human forces had cut through the fleet like a blade through flesh, straight toward the center. When the prince fled, his remaining ships fell into chaos. Some surrendered. Some tried to run. None escaped. Earth took prisoners for the first time, and the prisoners were shocked to be treated with basic respect. They had expected torture. They received food, medical care, and the simple words, "The war is with your leaders, not with you." Word spread quickly through the galaxy. The Valorian Empire, undefeated for thousands of years, had lost, but the war was far from over. Admiral Grant pushed deeper into Valorian space. Every week brought new battles. Every month saw new planets fall. The humans did not slow down. They did not negotiate. They barely slept. Morrison became a legend after the Battle of Catherick Station. His single ship, the ESS Fury, had been separated from the fleet during a surprise attack. Surrounded by 15 Valorian warships, most commanders would have surrendered. Morrison attacked instead. He used the station's own defense systems against the Valorian ships. He flew through asteroid fields that no one should have survived. He made decisions so fast that the enemy could not react. When the battle ended, 14 Valorian ships were destroyed. The 15th had fled. When asked later how he did it, Morrison simply said, "They expected me to be afraid. I was not afraid. I was angry." On the ground, Sergeant Nina Cross led guerrilla operations that drove Valorian commanders mad. She moved through occupied territory like a shadow, appearing and disappearing before anyone could catch her. Local populations, oppressed by the Empire for generations, began helping her. They provided food, shelter, and information. "You are not like the Valorians," a village elder told her one night. "They took and gave nothing back. You fight, but you protect the innocent." Why? Cross thought about the question. "Because that is what humans do," she said finally. "We protect those who cannot protect themselves, even if it costs us everything." The elder nodded slowly. "Perhaps the galaxy needed someone like you?" As months passed, cracks appeared throughout the Empire. Military commanders began refusing orders that would kill their own soldiers pointlessly. Citizens questioned why they were dying for an emperor who lived in luxury while they suffered. Other subjugated species watched and waited. Dr. Maria Santos arrived at the front lines with a new weapon. It was called the Cascade Bomb, and it was the most terrible thing humans had ever built. A single device could destabilize a star, causing it to explode and destroy everything in its system. "We built this as a last resort," she told Admiral Grant. "If we were losing, if Earth itself was threatened. But now we have a choice. We can demonstrate its power and perhaps end this war faster." The Admiral stared at the device for a long time. "What would we destroy?" "The Catherine system. It is uninhabited except for military bases. No civilians. But it is a major staging point for Valorian forces. If we destroy it, they will lose their ability to counterattack. And they will know we can destroy anything. Do it," the Admiral said quietly. "And make sure the Emperor is watching." 3 days later, the Kethron system vanished in a flash of light so bright it could be seen from a dozen other systems. 6 Valorian battle groups, hundreds of ships, gone in an instant. On Valoria Prime, Emperor Zorath watched the footage with trembling hands. His advisors stood in terrified silence. No one had ever possessed such power. No one had ever used it. "They will destroy us," the Emperor whispered. "They will destroy everything." High Commander Drexus stepped forward. He had urged the execution of the generals. He had told the Emperor that humans were weak. Now his soldiers blamed him for the disaster. His own guards looked at him with hatred. "We must negotiate," Drexus said desperately. "We must offer peace before." He never finished speaking. A young officer stepped forward and shot him in the chest. Drexus fell, staring up in shock as his life faded away. "That was from my family on Kethrix," the officer said. "They died because of your arrogance." No one stopped him. No one mourned Drexus. He had started this war with his whisperers and lies. Now he paid the price. Emperor Zorath became increasingly unstable. He executed generals for minor failures. He ordered impossible attacks. He retreated to his private chambers and refused to see anyone. The empire was falling apart, and he could not stop it. Prince Korath, shamed by his defeat, tried to rebuild his reputation. He led another fleet against the humans. They destroyed it in